Hi, I'm Jodie Rosé O'Brien, part of the AWI Extension South Australia team. We're at Melrose for an EID workshop for productivity and profitability. I'd like to introduce our case study, David Clark. He's going to share his experiences on using EID on his property. So it's my pleasure to introduce David Clark. David, do you want to just tell us a bit about your property before we get underway?
Yep, our home place is in between Melrose and Bullaroo, but we range from just north of Arabra up to just south of Hammond, so it's about a 50k spread as the crow flies, and a wide range of rainfall. We go from sort of 290-ish up to 450 mil rainfall, so quite a differing country.
So both cropping and livestock?
Yeah, about probably 3/4 or a bit more of our revenues based off cropping, and the balance is made up out of livestock.
So about how many breeding ewes do you have on your place?
We run 500 to 600 depending on what's going on with the cropping rotation year to year. There's been, because of the sheep prices last year, there was a few discussions and running a couple less this year.
Yeah. And so on the property, it's yourself, and who else works with you on the farm?
My parents, mainly Dad. Mum does the bookwork and keeps us all in line from spending too much money.
Sounds like she does a good job. So, David, I understand you've been collecting EID data for a few years. How did you become interested in collecting some data?
Well, before I came home on the farm, I was an engineer, so I've got a bit of a data bent to me. It all probably kicked off about 7-8 years ago when we had went to a Bredwell Fedwell seminar, and that finally, there'd been discussions between Dad and I. The cropping side of things, I was always allowed to do mainly what I wanted. The sheep is his little pet project, and so the amount of say I had in that was mainly labour, and he made a lot of the decisions. And then once we went to that day, and he goes, actually, I can start to see. So we started moving towards scanning. We scanned our ewes for 4 years, and we started to find that we had...
So pregnancy scanning?
Yeah, pregnancy scanning. We were using micron tags to denote dry ewes. We were quitting most of our dry ewes, but if maidens scanned dry, we were keeping them, and we were finding the tags were getting lost. And so then it was a case of, we don't want to lose that information, we want to keep it, and trying to work out a way in EIDs. You don't lose the information, and you then can keep track of what they've scanned year on year.
So you're collecting preg scanning data. Any other data that you're collecting on farm?
We've just started collecting some weighing data.
So you're weighing your lambs?
Yeah, we only tag the ewe lambs at the moment, so we're just trying to work out what our most productive ewes are to mate again going forwards.
Do you want to tell us about how you're collecting the data on farm and what gear you use?
So we are using Gallagher gear. Pretty much we came to that decision because I was looking for a stick reader, and they were the ones that gave me the bits that I wanted out of the mid-price range stick reader. A bit like buying a tractor, every colour's got its strengths and weaknesses. But as I found out later, once you're in one manufacturer's ecosystem, it's very hard to get out.
And so how long ago did you buy the gear?
So we started tagging in 21, and then the tagging was the first step, and then we didn't actually buy the tag reader for 12 months after that because realistically there's nothing to read. We didn't have any weighing gear, we had nothing, so it was just a case of putting a tag in the ear, and until we actually needed to record pregnancy status, there was no need for anything else.
So how are you managing your data that you're collecting at the moment?
Spreadsheets mainly. Most of it's through spreadsheets. When you get your tags, those aren't in EIDs, make sure you get bucket file from the manufacturer. Tick that box so it gets emailed to you. It makes life a hell of a lot easier. I then grab that, and pretty much every time it goes through, I download off the stick reader or through the Gallagher app that we're running all the data in, and then put that into the format that I want in the spreadsheet, and I have a different spreadsheet for each year. There's other ways of going. You can use it on a spreadsheet through apps and software, but originally I wasn't going to go down that track, but when we bought the weighing gear, I worked out it was cheaper to purchase the Gallagher app every year than a scale head. So we're doing that, and I'm trying to work out how to transition to that now, but I'm not sure that it's actually any better.
Okay, we look forward to hearing about your journey in that space. Your plans for the future with data collection?
The biggest one, and we were going to do it last year until the price of lamb crashed and the price of tags, as soon as everyone mentioned that EID was going to become mandatory, seemed to magically go up. We were going to start tagging our weather lambs because I think there's some pretty big productivity gains, like maximising feed, minimising time on farm by tracking average daily gain through our weighing setup. So I think that's probably the next step for us, is to be tracking our weather lambs on a per sheep basis to try and make sure we're getting them through and picking the ones that are just not doing and they have no reason not to be doing and getting rid of them earlier.
So you're making those management decisions in a timely fashion?
Yeah. The question about return on investment is pretty hard from my point of view to justify or quantify. There's definite ways that you make it work. It's just trying to put numbers around it. It helps speed up your decision making, and at times when you got a tight finish to the year like last year, it gives you ability to make a decision based off the sheep's history or what it's actually doing in front of you, rather than trying to pick it by eye or make broad sweeping statements over a mob.
Great insight. Now, I guess in closing, any tips for other producers thinking of starting collecting data using EID?
No, but probably my biggest tip is just get them in the ear. The earlier you get them in the ear, you'll figure out ways of using it. We've got a mishap from joining this year where a couple of the rams were slightly too close to a mob of ewes, and a few of them decided to put themselves in earlier. It was fortunate they put themselves into the first year, the ewes from the first year we started using the EID tags. So we've actually been able to go through and put the tag reader over the ewes that they jumped into. And so once joining all the other mobs is finished, we'll actually be able to run them back in larger mobs when the tractor starts moving, and we'll be able to pull them out, get them shorn early and back out to be in their lambing paddocks earlier. The opportunities with it are there. You just got to get them in the ear. And probably my biggest tip, because we did it, is make sure when you go, especially if you're going to a different tag manufacturer to your visual tags, make sure you get the right applicator, because we went to start marking the first year and realised that we didn't have the right applicator to go with our tags.
That's a great tip, Dave, because it'd be hard to put them in with the wrong one. Any other words of advice that you can impart with these guys?
Not really. No, not the.
Sorry, I have one more question. When do you tag? So you tag in the cradle, or do you tag later on with your ewe lambs?
No, we only run one tag. We tag in the cradle. That's the only tag that goes in the ear.
Fantastic. Would you join me in thanking David? David, thank you for sharing your expertise on how you're using EID for productivity and profitability. Case studies are supported by Australian Wool Innovations Extension South Australia, the South Australian Sheep Industry Fund, the Department of Primary Industries and Regions, and Livestock SA.